Good morning, my loves, and welcome to Studio Sessions episode 10. Before I begin the video, I just wanted to let you guys know there's a 35-minute version of this video with voiceover and color mixing guidelines and other fun daily rewards available at patreon.com/happydartist. Today's topic of discussion is going to be about copying and plagiarism, and I know that this is kind of a rather dicey topic. I've seen several other amazing artist YouTubers also make videos sharing their thoughts on it, and I was kind of inspired. It gave me a little courage to talk about my opinions regarding copying versus plagiarism versus inspired by. And I just wanted to quickly preface this by saying that in no means am I trying to shame anyone or insult anyone or make anyone feel bad. So if you're someone who has done the things that I'm about to say in this video, just know that I'm not saying it to humiliate you or make you feel guilty. I actually think that making this video could potentially help some young artists who are maybe just starting out and don't really know, I guess, kind of this unspoken etiquette amongst the art community. I know that if you don't know any better and you don't mean any harm, that it's not really your fault. And it's simply, in my opinion, better to try to educate people and let people know rather than going around shaming people and being mad. So I just want to say that this video is made with good intentions, and if you are kind of guilty of some of the things I'm about to say, please do not feel bad about yourself. I'm not blaming you. I have no hard feelings, but I just think it's important for people to be more knowledgeable about this very sensitive topic. So let's get started. So I believe that art is very similar to music. It's really hard to begin practicing and improving and feeling inspired without first looking at other artists and consuming other art. And it's a really great and convenient world we live in because we have social media now. We don't have to physically go into a museum or go into an art gallery in order to discover and be inspired by amazing artworks. And there's so many talented people out there online and also in real life that it's hard not to be inspired, and I totally understand that. And I myself, to this day, I love following artists on Instagram. I love going to art shows. I love consuming art and seeing what other people are doing and feeding off of their creativity and their energy, and using that inspiration to motivate myself. So I don't think there's anything wrong with being inspired by other artists. You guys might see signs of some of my favorite artists in a lot of the paintings that I do. I love James Jean, Mark Ryden, Audrey Kawasaki, and their influence is very evident in my style. However, I think a lot of young artists who are just new to social media perhaps don't quite understand where the line is drawn. There definitely is a boundary that people usually should not cross. And that boundary is the difference between being inspired by someone and straight up just copying/plagiarizing someone. So this video will basically list out in very direct terms the difference between being inspired by and copying, and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And again, this is all my opinion. But being inspired by someone, I think, means you look at someone's artwork, you feel a surge of motivation, inspiration, encouragement from looking at their works, and then you put their work away. You go to your own easel or your own desk, and when you start creating your artwork, you keep in mind that feeling of inspiration that person brought you, but you still create your own original artworks. And it's okay to be influenced by someone's style as long as you still make it originally yours. So a great example is this, actually for this painting, I was really inspired by Mark Ryden, who was one of my favorite artists, and he's known for drawing young girls with very cute baby doll faces, almost kind of like young baby faces in a way. And I was really inspired by that entire feeling, the feeling of innocence, the big doe eyes, and I wanted to do something similar. So I have a book of paintings by Mark Wright, and I look through it very often for inspiration. And when I was done, I put the book away and I gathered my own reference photos, made my own concept sketch, and started my own painting, all without using his painting in any way. Like, I didn't put his painting up on my list of reference photos and try to copy things from his actual painting. I simply remembered the elements that really spoke to me, that were present in his style, that I wanted to also be present in my style. And I still created my own original piece beginning to end without ever consulting any of his pieces. And that way I make sure that my creation is 100% my own and that I didn't borrow even a small part of his painting. That is called inspired by, and I think it's totally fine and totally normal for a lot of artists to go down this route. Now, the second route that I advise you to stay away from is copying. And copying basically means you are taking either the entire piece or just even a tiny bit of someone's work and you're using it as reference for your own work. So in extreme cases, I've had people simply print out like a photo of my artwork and paint over it, and or they'll trace my artwork and redo it, but you can tell the lines are very traced because I would actually go in Photoshop and overlay them, and they're definitely traced, and then post it and claim it as their own. That is the extremely worst case scenario. You should never ever do that. If you really, really do want to copy someone's piece and you do want to do it for, let's say, the purpose of studying and for improving, like you really have no intention of plagiarizing them or making money off of their creative content. A lot of people do that. A lot of times in art class, I remember in college, the one art class I took, we had to do copies of famous classical paintings using Adobe Photoshop. And the thing with that is, I really advise, if you're going to copy someone's painting directly, to not share it on social media. Like, if it's just for the purpose of practicing and improving your own skills, do not try to get any gains or try to get any sort of extra attention or money or likes or views from someone else's work. Now, if you still insist on sharing it, for example, let's say you're really proud of it, or perhaps the person that you're doing the copy from doesn't mind, which I don't think I've ever encountered an artist who doesn't mind this, but just in case for some reason you insist on sharing it, make sure you write in your description of whatever platform you're sharing that this is a study of someone else's work, or that this is a copy of someone else's work. Do not say inspired by when you actually use someone else's artwork as reference, or as like a guideline for your own piece, because you're not really inspired by them, you're pretty much just copying their work. And although I do know that copying other people's work is often used in practice, and in helping yourselves improve, it's still really kind of frowned upon in the art community to just kind of share it and not give them any credit. And of course, if you give them credit, make sure you label the credit properly. It's a copy, not inspired by. So this is kind of my spiel. Just to recap, being inspired by someone, you're basically kind of using elements from their style or their work that you find very beautiful or very that speak to you, but you still create your own original artwork and you don't plagiarize any elements of their work. You don't have their work up on your computer as reference and copy directly from their work. You put their work away, you have a fresh set of eyes, and you create your own original artwork completely from scratch without consulting their work. And copying is when you use someone's work as reference. You either trace over it or you simply have the reference up and you're using it as a guideline while you're creating your work. And copying can apply whether you're copying an entire piece of artwork or even a small part of it. And when you do copy someone, If it's for the sake of just simply practicing privately, I really advise you to not share it on social media because artists often do not like seeing copies of their work done, especially when it's not credited or labeled properly. But if you do insist on sharing it on social media, make sure that you write in your description that it's a copy or a study of the artist's painting, and make sure to always tag the artist that you're copying from. Alright, that sums up my video. I hope you guys found this educational, and please do not take any negativity or hurt away from it. This is simply to help educate everyone. And real quick, before I end this video, I wanted to proudly show off these amazing coloring entries from my $1 coloring challenge that I host every month on my Patreon page. So if you'd like to join for this month, go to patreon.com/happydartist and pledge at least $1. I'm so excited to see your entries. Thank you guys so much for watching and for listening, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!